Well, hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this. George and I aren't able to see a lot of you like we used to because perhaps you're worshiping online as opposed to in person, but we just wanted to give you kind of an update on how the church is doing.
So how would you say things are going, Nick?
Yeah, that's probably a good question at any point. I think what is most natural for us to do when we think about, hey, how's the church doing? Is the church in a healthy place? We naturally look at attendance. And right now, I think more than ever, we're coming to realize that attendance isn't the best way to find out how healthy the church is doing. Many of you are watching services online, and if you were to come here, you would think people are social distance and the crowd seems sparse, but that's not the best way of measuring how healthy a church is doing. A better way to look at it is engagement. Are the people of Hershey Free Church still engaged with our church? And so there's a lot of different things that I think we can look at. So many of you are in small groups or in connect groups, and whether you're meeting on Zoom or in person, you're still engaged with the people in that group. Some of you are students and you're engaged in these home groups with your peers in your grade. Kids Step, you've received subscription boxes from Kids Step, from Miss Caitlin and Miss Jill and so forth, and you're going through that. I think all these things are positive. We can also look at giving. Giving's a little low. We're in the middle of a recession, so I think that's a little bit to be expected, but I think there's some good things that we can look at in how our church is engaged. George, I have a question for you, though.
Sure.
What are some things that elders have been talking about, and what kind of update would you give from them?
Well, I just wanted to make sure you understand that as elders, we really are attuned to the fact that people are at different places when it comes to how should we respond to the pandemic. We use the image of a traffic light, and some people are green. We need to be wide open, and why can't we do things exactly like we've done it in the past? Other people are at yellow. They're more cautious, a little more reflective about mitigation and what they're doing. Some people are just at red, and they're very limited for a variety of reasons in their activities. These are people we probably aren't going to see in the building for a lengthy period of time. And I just want you to know, as elders, we are hearing you, and we understand that people really are at different places and responding, in different ways to this pandemic. And we wrestle with this as an elder team as well, because as we're looking to take next steps and always thinking about what's coming up, we've been at different places as well. And so I want you to know we are aware of that. And yet in the midst of that, as a team, even with our differences at times, we're wanting to work together, and we're wanting to lead well, to listen well to you. So know that we really want to hear from you. And in the midst of even our differences, we want to continue as a church community being united with the recognition that we want to be for one another, united in our sense of mission. And along those lines, let me just share one verse that over the last few days is really started to resonate with me. This is really my prayer for us as a church community. This is really how I'm praying for you individually and corporately. And it's a statement the Apostle Paul makes in 2 Timothy, where he says, you know what? God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. Instead, he has given us a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind or self-control. And I want you to know that's really how I'm praying for you and for us, that we would have a sound mind in the midst of all this craziness, not to be overwhelmed by fear or uncertainty, but a sound mind to understand that God's power can even be at work now. And it's a power that can equip us and mobilize us to love, to build bridges with other people, even in the midst of all that's going on. So I want to just challenge you, encourage you to realize that God can be at work even in this hard, ongoing season. In fact, according to the pages of Scripture, God often does his best work in people like you and me in moments exactly like this. So let's be open to that. I know that we love you, we're wanting to hear from you, and we are for you as a church as we seek to build bridges in our community.